Hey, this is Christian with Forest of Art and Healing Arts, and this is the first in a series of videos about Qigong. At Forest of Art and Healing Arts and Yoga Bear Box, we're hoping to open up a studio here where we're going to teach Tai Chi, Qigong, and yoga. And so, in preparation for that, I've been looking at different exercises that I've taught throughout the years and making some videos on them. Now, I'm not a Taoist, and so this is an exercise that I've taken from some notions in Taoism and used it as a way of helping people to relax. And the notion that I'm going to be working with is Wuji. So, Wuji is the empty void that exists before anything. So it is another way of saying Wuji is no extremity. It's what the word means. There's no strife, no extremity, no opposites in it. It's an empty void. It's also thought to be darkness, kind of like the dark moon or the new moon before it goes to light. So there's a lot of potential in that new moon. Once it's light, it's lost its potential. It can only go backwards and decay. There's some philological discussion about what Daoism means, what the word means, the characters. And one thought is that it has to do with the moon. Or another way of thinking of this is it's an undifferentiated emptiness. Now, if we take this emptiness here and then impinge upon it with material reality, and that's what I'm showing here with these red lines, and with the strife of material reality, then we flatten into an oval and we twist the oval and it becomes two circles. Now let's take these two circles and place them within this original Wu Chi symbol. And what do we have? We have the familiar Tai Chi symbol. The circles are now moving around. And so this is how we get from Wu Chi to Tai Chi. So Tai Chi has the yin and the yang, the opposites. They are in conflict, but also interdependent upon each other. And this here is the principle and the cause of all, according to Taoism. Okay, so this is fairly traditional Taoist thinking here, moving from the Wu Chi to the Tai Chi. And the key point that I want to bring out here is what's in between the two circles. And in Taoism, it's thought that it's something called the Taiji Chord. So this line here between the two circles, the kind of friction point where the changes are happening, is the Taiji Chord. And it's twisted, right? So we saw here where it twisted. Taoism, which can also be understood as being the way. Well, what's the way? The way is to go back towards Wu Chi, to return to that primeval emptiness, that primeval void. And when you get there, according to Taoism, then you find immortality. And the technique is to untwist the Tai Chi cord. So I'm going to take this idea and use it as a way to help ourselves relax in our body. It's not a spiritual use of it, it's a little bit more superficial, but it's useful for what I'm doing in body work. Now, I'm going to read you just the beginning of Lao Tzu's Tao Te Ching, and you can get from this an understanding of this primeval emptiness. So, this is one translation of it, and it goes like this: the way that becomes a way is not the immortal way. The name that becomes a name is not the immortal name. The maiden of heaven and earth has no name. The mother of all things has a name. Thus in innocence we see the beginning. In passion we see the end. Two different names for one and the same. The one we call dark. The dark beyond dark. The door to all beginnings. And so what I'm emphasizing there is this notion of darkness, of emptiness, of something before anything. It's an abstract concept, and those of you who know, for example, Hegelian logic, you can think about this as being kind of like being and nothing. Being is empty of all presuppositions. Pure being is empty of all presuppositions. It's so empty that it's actually nothing. So pure being passes over into pure nothing. But pure nothing is, so therefore that passes back over into pure being. And it's this movement back and forth, kind of like this yin yang here, that movement back and forth that creates becoming. You heard that word in there as well. And then becoming creates something. And then it moves on into our reality, our material reality. So it's a little bit of the same, concept coming from a different part of the world. Another way of thinking about the Tai Chi chord in your body is to think about one of the 8 extraordinary meridians, which is called the thrusting or penetrating vessel or meridian. So we have these 12 meridians on our arms and legs, and they come into our body. And then we have this vessel that goes down the front, the conception vessel, which is a yin vessel, and the vessel that goes up the back, the governing vessel, which is a yang vessel. But in between the front and the back, moving through the center of the body, is something called the thrusting or penetrating vessel. And that begins on the floor of the pelvis in a point called conception vessel 1, in between your genitals and your anus. And it moves bilaterally up the middle of the body through your abdomen. And then when it gets into the chest, it expands out into the intercostal spaces. Then it gathers again in the chest and comes up through the neck into the face and expands out into the mouth. So this is also another way of thinking of the Tai Chi chord, and it's a place that you can meditate upon as you're doing the first exercise that I'm going to show. So I'm going to tell you now how to do the exercise, and then I'll lead you in a kind of a brief version of the exercise. So it goes like this. You're going to stand in a position called Wuji, with your legs underneath your hips, your arms out to the side like this, and you're going to take 3 deep breaths. When you breathe in, your belly is going to come out. When you breathe out, your belly is going to go in. So you take 3 of those. Then you take this concept of nothing, of voidness, and you place it upon a body part. So I'm going to start, for example, in this shoulder here. The shoulder's a little bit rotated in right now, and I want to relax it. So I'm going to take this meditation upon nothingness, upon a void, place it in this shoulder, and I'm going to untwist the Tai Chi chord that's in this shoulder. Some impinging problem in my life is causing this shoulder to roll in and be tight. And so I'm going to place this meditation there, see if I can get that to let go. And you can do it in a couple of places, maybe 2 or 3 places in one sitting. Then you end with Wuji breathing, 3, 4, 5 breaths, and then that's your setting. It's also a good idea to keep a journal when you're doing Qigong and to write down what you're understanding. So let's do it together now. Stand with your feet underneath your shoulders here, a little bit wider than your hips. Bend your knees a bit. Let go of your bum, let go of your back, let your head, sit on top of your shoulders. Have your palms facing backwards, and then bring your arms out to the side a little bit, like you have 2 little balloons in here. You're going to close your eyes, and you're going to breathe in deeply 3 times. And when you breathe in, your belly comes out. When you breathe out, your belly goes in. And as you're doing this, meditate upon emptiness, upon that void, that darkness that I was talking about. So let's do 3 breaths. I'll just call out the first one, then I'll be silent for the next 2 breaths. Close your eyes and take a deep breath in. And let it out. Two more deep breaths, very slow. Meditate upon emptiness. And then come back and slowly open your eyes. And so just that by itself should get you to kind of calm down and relax a little bit. You can do 5 breaths, 10 breaths, whatever you have time for. Then you do the exercise. So take this same meditation upon nothingness, upon the empty void, and place it somewhere. I'm going to place it on this shoulder right here and see if I can get this shoulder to do something. I don't know what it's going to do, but my thought is going to be untwist the Tai Chi chord in this shoulder. And let's see what happens. You figure out a place right now. You're going to put it in your body or your mind. And now let's do 3 breaths with your mind on that place, thinking, untwist the Tai Chi cord and take that area back to nothingness. So stand in Wuji again, close your eyes, and let's do 3 deep breaths. And then come back and open your eyes. So what I noticed is that as I did that, my arm rolled back, and then it let go of something that was connected up into my neck that was tight, and it let my shoulder fall. So if that's all you do with this exercise, you get your arm, your shoulder to roll back and your shoulder to fall down, you've done a lot. You've relaxed your shoulder. But as you keep going with it, maybe you do 5 breaths, 10 breaths, stay with the meditation of untwisting the Tai Chi cord, you'll find layers of tension in your shoulder that you can let go of. You might even find layers of emotion, of trauma, any number of things that that can twist up and cause that swirl of problems in your body parts. And it could be in your emotions. It could be, for those of you who have a spiritual life, it could be somewhere in your spirituality. So that's what we're doing. We're going to place it in a place, untwist the Tai Chi cord. Now, let's do one more together. And the next place I'm going to do on me is in my hips. And I'm thinking in kind of this direction here, forward and back. I think there's something a bit twisted there, maybe something twisted in my right hip. Let's see. You figure out a place you're going to do right now. And let's do 3 more breaths and untwist the Tai Chi cord. Let's do it silently together. And then come back. So we're just doing a very short exercise. That's 3 breaths. You could really do 5, 10, or even more to go through the layers. What I noticed, the first thing I noticed when I closed my eyes is that my glutes were tight. I was holding my butt tight. Why do I need to do that? I don't know. But, a lot of times we put our attention on our hips and we say, why are we holding our butt tight? Let go. Second thing I realized is that the floor of my pelvis was held up. Let that go. So within the first second of untwisting the Tai Chi cord, I let go of 2 major muscle groups. Then as I was continuing to focus on it, I could feel that this right hip here is twisted in for some reason. Now I could keep doing the exercise and see what the reason is. It'll come to you as you meditate. But you can also, you write this down in your journal, and then you take this to your body worker. And you say, body worker, your massage therapist, I've got this twisted here. Help me with it. Or you take it to your yoga class and you work on opening it out. There's all kinds of body work and movement work that we can do. This that we're doing right here is a great treatment, but it's also a good diagnostic technique. Okay? So I wouldn't do more than maybe 3 places in one sitting. So we just did 2, maybe 1 more. Let's close now by doing 3 deep breaths of Wuji. And now we're not looking at any one body part. In fact, we're not looking at anything but the empty void. So let's see if we can find that empty void in our last 3 breaths here together. And I'll be silent. 3 deep breaths. Belly goes out when you breathe in. and then come back and open your eyes. Okay, and that's how we'll end. If you have any questions on this, you can contact us in any of the ways that we have through our social media or our email.